Okay, so let's see, this is third day, and all right. And the goal now will be to try to, this is day 3, okay, the title is okay, will be to try to deploy a Firebase Cloud Function to Firebase and execute it in any possible way for now. Later we'll try to execute it with HTTP request, but initially executing it even from some kind of control panel will be okay. So let's try. Dunque, functions should be here. Okay, waiting for your first deploy instructions. To use functions, you need to install Firebase command line tools. Okay, I've done that already. Continue. Open a terminal window, navigator, already done that. However, because finish, that's a bit simplistic. How does it know in which folder the functions are? Because now I created a functions folder, right? In there, I have an src folder where there is a TypeScript function, which now just sends hello from Firebase, okay? But this TypeScript function is not directly deployable. I think you have to deploy instead the compile. Why is it TS here? I thought it would compile or transpile to JavaScript. Okay, so let's ask how do I deploy my index.ts TypeScript Firebase Cloud function. Okay, let's see what it says. I will help you deploy your Firebase Cloud function. Let me check your project structure to provide with the most accurate guidance. Great. Let me check your package JSON to understand your package setup, project setup. Here is how you deploy your Firebase Cloud function. Let's check my README, what we got in here so far. Why there is error? That's HTML validate. Not my problem now. Install Node and Firebase tools. Firebase static website and deploy. Firebase function, execute only once. Firebase init function. That is Firebase deploy only functions. npm run build. Allora, let's open the terminal, which is this one. To reduce a little bit. Okay, too much. Little bit more. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, where is the terminal? Output. terminal. npm run build. Could not read packages. So that's just because we should be in the functions folder to run that. npm run build. It looks fine. This compiles your index.ts to lib index.js. Ah, yes, index.js. It's really confusing because now there's nothing here. 22 lines. Ah, okay. I was at the bottom. Okay, now it's JavaScript. It's JavaScript, correct. So let's update my nodes. To deploy only the functions, well, first we have to run the build and the comment that says this is correct. At least now there is only one file. If we want to future-proof it, your source type script files to JavaScript files in the lib folder. Okay, so this will be true also when there are more files than just one. Okay, what's next? Deploy. Okay, so that was correct. Deploy only functions. Let's run that. So does it know to look at the lib folder, not the source folder? Suppose. That's a bit of a mystery. Deploying function, running command npm prefix run lint, running command build. So this is already done the build anyway. Finish running pre-deploy, preparing code base default for deployment. So I guess the title is not quite right, building website for budget pilot app. This is more like, let's update the title. Web dev is probably okay. Yes, we're doing the website at testing, Firebase, cloud function. That's all we will do in this session. Not too long, maybe 3 hours, 2-3 hours. Day 3. Okay. So what else did he say here? Missing required cloud builder cloud APIs, enabling now required enable error detected node engine 22 which is not supported. Valid version are 18, 20 and 22, so 22 should be supported. Why is it looking at maybe the subversion should not be there? So it says in package JSON. Okay, let's check the package JSON. Yeah, engines 22, blah blah blah. It should be just 22 then. Okay, without the sub. Let's run this again. Firebase deploy only functions. Let's see what happens. Still enabling stuff. Should have done it already. Okay, now node 22 is recognized. So I tried to update the title, but it did not work. Let me try again with quotes. Otherwise, I think I can do it in Twitch without. Will this work? Node 22. Taking a long time. Checking here in Firebase console if anything changed. Not at all. Going back here. Creating node 22 second generation function hello world US Central one. Looks good. I just don't know why it takes so long. Without any feedback, it's stuck. Do I change the title in Twitch? Maybe with this. So let's change the title. Something happened. Okay. I changed the title. Allora, let's see what happened here. Successful create operation. Okay. Function. Okay, gives me a URL, which is great. We can try to climb, to call it. Hello world. Forgot the D. Hello from Firebase. Okay, that's good progress. And what else it says? No cleanup policy detected for repositories in US Central. This will result in a small monthly build as a container images accumulate over time. How many days do you want to keep containers images before they are deleted? Not sure. Suggest one. What container images? Additional script tips. If you're not initialized, do this. Deploy specific function. Only function name. Okay. Let's add this to the README. Okay. To deploy only a specific function. Yeah, the suggestion looks good. Let me compare with what I had here. Yeah, hello world, deploy only. Dunque, is set up. Would you like to see your current functions definition? No. I want to this. Yeah. I see this message. So what container images are they talking about? Is that something for deployment? when you deploy Firebase Cloud Function second generation, Google Cloud Build creates container image for your function. These images are stored in the Google Container Registry in the US Central region. Here is what's happening. Each deployment creates a new container images. Old images remain in storage. These images take storage space. While storage costs are minimal, they can accumulate over time. The warning asks if you want to set up an automatic cleanup for old container images. You can choose a retention period, like 30 days, after which unused images will be automatically deleted. For development, 30 to 60 days is usually sufficient. For production, consider keeping longer for rollback purposes. To set this up, you can either answer the prompt with your desired number of days or set it up later using the Google Cloud Console container registry settings. Okay. So this is container registry. Can I see it from here? Or should I go to the Google Cloud? Analytics, no. Run, maybe. Add mob. Container registry. Oh, the Firebase hosting, I don't see it. So let's go to the Google Cloud Console. Yeah, which is here. Well, that's the same console. That's Firebase console. Google Cloud Console. Okay, so there is something called container registry, which is not one of these. So view all products. Ah, okay. So let's try to search for container registry. Okay. CI/CD container registry. Private container registry storage. Okay. So we should have one image for this last build. And they said I can set up the retention periods in the settings. Okay. Location, scanning disabled. Oh, why is it 4 columns? Now I can't read anything. Not easily. Google Cloud Function, 6 minutes ago, 90 megabytes. Okay. So in the settings, I should be able to set the retention period, yeah? Vulnerability scanning off. Scans image when they are pushed for known vulnerability and exposure. And it's not here. Going back to the AI. Container registry settings, but it's not there. Repositories, artifact registry. Is that the same as container registry? I think I click on container registry before. Retention period, not there. If I search here and I type container registry, go here, container registry. Now I see container registry instead of artifact registry with the same content. I go settings. This changed to be artifact registry, but there is no retention policy. How many days do you want to keep images? Just one. Okay, configure cleanup policy for repository. Images older than 1 days will be automatically deleted. Configure, okay, deploy complete. Okay, but it's not here. So here it said set up later. Okay, in Google Console, in Google Cloud Console dash container registry, I can see the container for my deployed function. However, in settings, there isn't an option to change retention days. Let me see, how is it called? Yeah, retention period. The retention period. This request is taking longer than expected. And if in the meantime, while we wait for a response, here in the functions, I should be able to reload and see my hello world function. Okay. Version 2, one request, maximum 40 instance, timeout 10 seconds. Okay. This one looks good. Okay, you're right. The retention period policy for the container registry is managed through the artifact API, registry API. Even though the containers, well, we went through the artifact API. API. Appear in the container registry UI. Here is you get to set it up. Use gcloud CLI. Not sure I have it. Anyway, I think I can just, this command is so long. So let me try to just run gcloud to see if I have it or not. In fact, I don't. Okay. So the first step will be to install the gcloud. Let's ask just Google. Let's see, install gcloud. Okay. No, yeah, install Google Cloud CLI. It's a link. Let's see where it goes. Oh, Mac. Linux, Mac OS. Okay. Check if you have Python version 3.8 to 3.13. So if I do Python-v without the dot, there's something going wrong. Pyenv Python command not found. Pyenv global. Yeah. There is some setup problem. Pyenv. I didn't use Python for such a long time. 257. What if I just do Python 3? Python 3-v. Okay, 312. But 3.8 to 3.13. Okay. Not sure which Python. So how this Python got installed? To pyenv. Ah. So we have another problem. I don't know how to switch Python version, switch Python version with pyenv. Okay, let's see. Boom, boom. Okay. What does this do? Install the available versions? Okay, which are a lot. Ooh. Because when I ran before Python -v, it says Python command not found. Python install. What if it's trying to look for that one? So if I install it, what happens? Pyenv install. But I'm not sure the exact name. If I go list pipe grep with that. Oh yeah, there is something called like that. So if I say pyenv install and just the number there. Already is discontinued to installation. Yes, let's do it. Downloading. Maybe it was deleted or don't know. Then I would like to know which versions of Pythons are available. Pythons? Not sure if it goes plural. Which Pythons do we have? It takes a while. Let's see if that fixes when I just run Python FMP. Takes a while. The version of Pythons they are available is pyenv versions. Let's open a new terminal. Pyenv versions. Oh, so only two in the end. This is taking a very long time. Pyenv list. What was the way to get all the versions? Pyenv install list. So of the standard Python versions, we got 3.15 dev, B1, beta 1 T. It looks like the latest table might be 3.13.3 Python. 3.13.3. Okay. So let's try to install that one. Going back to the other terminal. Okay, let's see if I fix the Python -v, capital V. Pyenv help global. So 3.12.2, if I do Python 3-v, that's not what I get. Interesting. If I do pyenv help global, what does it say? Version 2 sets the global version. You can override the global at any time. Local pyenv global. Okay, so you can set 2 and 3. Okay, pyenv versions was the available version, isn't it? Go on. Right. So we need a Python 2 as well. Let's take some notes. So here an example which sets the version 3 and 2. First, I go pyenv install list. This should show me all the versions. And for version 3, I want 3.13.3. Pyenv install. Let's try that. 3.13.3. Then we need a version 2. This takes time. While we wait for that, let's check if we have a version 2. Grep caret 2. No. So there's nothing that starts with 2. Oh, yeah. Ah, there is a space before. That's right. Okay. Okay. Pipe grep quotes caret space 2. Okay. Didn't work. Oh, 2 space. Okay. So here we get, see the how the install is going in the meantime. Slowly, I open another terminal here by mistake. Oof. Exit. Okay. So as version 2, the latest looks like is 2.17, 2.7.18. There. So I go with that. Maybe I'm not installing 2 Python versions at the same time may cause conflicts of some kind. Let's wait for this. Okay. So let's try to install the version 2. In the meantime, if I check, delete that. I check again, Python 3 -v didn't change, okay, correctly, because we just install it and this still doesn't work. Now we wait for that and then we'll execute 3, 13, 3, and 2, 7, 18. See what happens. By the way, yeah, the first objective of just running a very simple cloud function is reached, which is great. All the rest is a bonus then for this session. Slow, slow. What's he doing? Is it download time, CPU time? That's just probably the streaming. Difficult to know. But it will finish eventually. So, meantime, I keep on reading here. Go Cloud Console, artifact registry, repository. Okay, okay, that's finished. So now we can run this command that should set the global version for version 3 and 2. So now I do Python -v or final. Oh no, it point to version 3. Python 2. Oh, okay. And Python 3. Okay, I hope this doesn't cause problems. So now that we have Python 3 installed, what we do now? Well, that was about Python. This is about Python, PyEnv. Okay. Okay. But how to install? Download one of the following: x86 or ARM Silicon. Okay. Extract the archive. Don't like that. Is that the best way you can do? Just download a file? Extract the archive on any location on your file system, preferably your home. Run the installation script. Okay, okay, let's do it. Okay, we get the CLI, the download here. We are going to opt folder where I put my stuff, executable files. Okay, so now I open the terminal. We are using this terminal. That's fine. Oh, actually, let's use iTerm for this outside of the project. So we go opt, and here is my archive. Let's check the size. 53 megabyte. Let's extract it. Okay. We enter in it, and there was something. Just run it. Where is it? What does it say? Run this install. Run the installation script from the root folder using the command. We don't need to be root though. All right. So let's run it like that. Okay. Boom, boom, boom from here. Okay. Welcome to the Google Cloud CLI. To help improve the quality of a project. Do you want to help improve? Definitely not. Okay. So your current Google CLI version is this, and the latest 522. And now we got various components, which none of them are installed except the last three. Do we have something about functions? I wouldn't worry about that now. We will see if we need them later. Install and remove component. To update the installation. Okay, that's a lot of information. G-Cloud components update. To update your G-Cloud SDK installation. Do you want to continue? Modify profile to update your path and enable shared command completion. Yes. The Cloud SDK installer will now prompt to update an RC file to bring the Google Cloud CLI into your environment. Enter a path RC to update or leave it blank. Okay. Python 3.12 installation detected. That's bad. Why find 3.12? Yes. Now that's bad. Install certain modules, we don't know what. Let's see if in a way everything would be managed. And we select in certain way to run with that 3.12 Python or not. Okay, so now if I just run gcloud, this no, not found. Let's open a new shell and I just run gcloud, comma not found, but it's misspelled gcloud. Ah, now it's found. It's taking time. Okay. Command name argument expected. Okay. Okay. So let's exit from here. Go back here. Now we need to close these terminals anyway because we need. No. Didn't want to do that. We need to reopen the terminal fresh. And now new terminal. So there was this command that sets a 30 days retention policy. Okay. Option 2, using the gcloud console. Right. Let's go to artifact registry, which is already there. But let's try to go from scratch. Allora, click on here, go to some kind of root, view all products, or just search here maybe. So we do artifact registry, okay. Artifact registry. And we are here. Click on repositories in the left file sidebar. Yeah, already done. Find the repository. Click on the three dots. There are no three dots, but there is a three dots here. What if? But I have to select something, right? Edit repository. Is that the one? Edit. probably. Mm. Clean up policy. Delete artifact. Firebase function cleanup. Conditional delete older than 86,400 seconds. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. 1 day. Oh, we have gcloud CLI, but we went through the console to check this retention period setup. Okay, so now we have the function deployed that just says hello world or whatever, hello from Firebase. This runs at this URL. Let's put it here. Let's see what header it spits out. Okay. Get remote address, not much. Response header. Okay. Content type, text HTML, date server. Yeah, not much. So the next step would be to go a little bit deeper with this, because now it's saving something in the logs, which would be nice to see where they are. And this returning hello from Firebase, returning an HTML header, which we didn't set explicitly. But it's there. Oh, man. Okay, let's check whether these logs are. This logger is imported from Firebase function logger. Okay, so there is a logger. Let's go to Firebase. Where this log go? In run, maybe? Is something I can see with Firebase, with the Cloud Console, maybe? First, let's spend a little more time slowly looking at these options. Build, app check, no, app hosting, authentication, data connect, extension, function. Could be part of functions, maybe. Usage, one. Okay, the function hello world. Is this login somewhere in there or not? New logs. Okay. So we call it at least a couple of times. Hello logs. Is that what you're saying? Hello logs. Okay. Plus other things like the invocation, the duration. Good, 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 good. And here there is some sort of query. I'm not looking in details now. We just trust it. So let's say we want our function to save something simple in Firestore. Let's go to check Firestore. We have just the user collection, everything goes in there. Now, if we want to save something in Firestore, we already have a problem thinking, okay, what authentication does it have? Because I think here in Firestore, I just said a user can write in user slash the user ID with the same user ID. And where is this policy set? Rules. Okay. So match documents, user ID, and then whatever. Yeah, the request should be authenticated with the user ID. However, a request from the web is not authenticated like that, isn't it? So let's check. Well, let's see how to save something in Firestore from a in Firestore from a Firebase Cloud function. It doesn't matter if then it will fail with an error. Let's start to see how to do it. And then after we figure out the rules to allow to actually work, the permissions. So step one is how do I save something in Firestore from my index.ts Firestore cloud function. We are using the free model, Cascade B, which it looks like for this general query is good enough. Let's see if I'm proved wrong. Okay. Allora, I will help you to save data to Firestore from your cloud function. First, let me check if you have the necessary imports and initialization in your index.ts file. I will help you add a Firestore functionality where we need to install the package, isn't it? To your cloud function. Here is how you modify your index.ts file to save data to Firestore. Okay. Proposed edits. I'm in chat. Can it apply anyway? Ooh, it's big, yeah. So how it goes slow. How to close this? Okay. Import function to from the relative submodule. Ah, look. On document read and Firestore. On request or log, okay. Admin as Firebase admin. So this style of import is importing everything. I think this way of working is the old way. Let's try to argue before we look at the rest. However, with import star, aren't you importing the whole library? Isn't it's better to import only specific functions or just what's needed? Question mark. You're absolutely right. It cracks me up every time. For better tree shaking a smaller bundle size, it's better to import only what's needed. Let me import, and here there is the same thing here for the logger. Logger, but we just, that's probably fine because we are using directly that. Ah, okay, look at that. Instead of doing the whole thing, is getting, ooh, okay, hold on. No, I'm not going to apply all this thing without reading it. Is importing these two things. There. So now, of course, we don't have the Firebase package. We can do these comments. So here we'll have explain and fix new problem is declare. Oh, okay. Ah, okay. Yeah, I know. You're not using it. Initialize Firebase admin. Start writing functions. Okay. Now complaints. DB is not used. Field value is not used. Okay, calm down. Start writing functions. Let's have a look at this documentation, which is perhaps this one or not. Hmm. Yeah, something I would like to read later. So let's delete this comment. Probably put that in the README. This README is containing a miscellaneous of things. Firebase functions. Let's put it here at the very beginning. Okay. Okay, so we got that. Now this function options is untouched. Then I go hello world on request function option. Async, yeah, that's the new. It's async now because we are writing stuff to the database, isn't it? And can we get the response before it's ready? Oh, okay. Advertisement, I don't know how to get rid of that. Is there a way to nuke? Click to reply. I'll have to figure that out. Let's have a check. So I have some commands. chatbot, chat commands. Nuke user. And I try that. Will it work? Apparently not. Will be interesting to figure out how, but now let's go on. So what I was doing, checking here. So, okay. So now the function become asynchronous. Okay. And then there is hello logs structured data. True. Okay. And then we got a try catch. How 65. We will request a response. Try catch. Otherwise, it's 500. Okay. Let's try. See. Example, save a document to Firestore and a separate function. I think let's start with a simple one. How do I copy this? No, I can't. It's cumbersome to see in this small window. Let's put it here. Okay. Okay. I copy the whole try catch. So I keep the logging. Goes away the hello from Firebase. Okay. Close the terminal. So example, save a document to Firestore. Okay, that's good. Collection messages are the new document, so they will get a random ID auto-generated by Firestore with a timestamp and some data. There would be no data provided if we don't post it, which is fine for me. And then it will return document written successfully. How was the response done before? Oh, we just deleted it. This is a little more involved. Is a JSON response. We'll just set a header too. Otherwise, something went wrong with some details. Okay, so I believe we can try to deploy and believe it will fail for the permission issues. Well, let's go ahead and see first. So in the README, I have how to deploy, which could be either this way, deploy only functions, or deploy only a hello world. Let's use the second syntax now to test it. We just have one function, so the two syntaxes are equivalent. I just want to test this. Okay, it fails because of some formatting issues apparently. So let's try npm run format first, which does not work. Let's go to functions. Okay. And this says maybe something was changed. Let's try to do the deployment again and see if it works or not. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Mhm. So I fully expect this to fail with permission error 7 to Firestore. What this says? I've made import specific for Firebase function logging as well. I didn't notice that. Because then it's not used. Use logger info. Okay, I like that. Let's try this change as well. But the problem is maybe I want to call it log info and log error because there is no prefix. So here I'm gonna say log info. And here I'm gonna say log error. Okay. Why it says no, I cannot do this. Okay, I have to say info and error. I don't know how. There is a way to add either a prefix or something, but I don't know from the top of my head. Now it's not important, so I put like just info and error. Whether error is this what? Is this a reserved word or something? Ah, okay. We call this error. That's a problem. Let's catch R then. Oops. That shouldn't have been changed. Okay. Deploy complete. We're going to deploy again. Otherwise, I'm going to test a function that is not what I have here. One more deployment, and then we see we should get the error. When I try to call it instead of hello from Firebase, I should get I couldn't write documents to Firestore. So I hope, or I think, let's see, we go from there once I verify that. I would like to run it, but let's wait for the end of the deployment first. Don't understand why such a simple function takes so long to deploy. So probably as generating a Docker container, creating, then deploying. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to know too much. I just wanted to so there are a lot of things here I would like to read. But here, especially, okay, everything about cloud functions. So I put here use TypeScript. This is still part of this cloud function. So I don't think I want to keep this all this separate. Right. I will have to read later on tomorrow all this from the introduction. Cloud functions for Firebase. Start here. This is just nothing. Okay. So the documentation here. We put here hello world. Firebase functions, not just TypeScript, the whole thing is start here. Okay. In the meantime, my deployment is still suck. So maybe we can start to read this. Key capabilities, how does it work, life cycle, cloud functions for Firebase. Cloud functions for Firebase is a serverless framework that lets you automatically run backend code in response to events triggers by background events, HTTPS request, the admin SDK, or cloud scheduler jobs. Your JavaScript, TypeScript, or Python code is stored on Google Cloud Infrastructure, which is not true, right? Because it doesn't run TypeScript directly. It's compiled to JavaScript. But anyway, and runs in a managed environment. There is no need to manage and scale your own servers. Already using blah blah blah. Cloud function in the cloud. Learn more about how Firebase gets in the picture. Okay, let's see this.
If you're an app developer, you know that a successful mobile app has lots of responsibilities. For example, apps built on Firebase use its authentication feature to sign in users, and they typically read and write data to its real-time database. They might also store files in the cloud using its scalable storage. These are all great features for building your app, but sometimes you can't put all your logic inside the app to run on the user's device. For example, prying eyes may try to reverse engineer and modify your app's code. Or maybe you need to change your app's behavior instantly, without publishing a new version that your users have to install. And sometimes it's best to have a single place where expensive work is performed. Traditionally, to solve these problems, you would deploy your private code to a backend server that you manage. The app would then use an API or library to communicate with that server and issue requests. However, with Cloud Functions for Firebase, you don't need to set up, maintain, and scale that backend to get its benefits. Instead, you can write and deploy code to our servers that automatically responds to events in your app. Did a user just log in for the first time? You can send them a welcome email with a function. Did that user insert a value into your real-time database? You can update it right away with a function. And did that user upload photos to your storage bucket? You can analyze, resize, and manipulate them all with a function.
Okay.
And finally, with the function, you can also send a message with Firebase Cloud Messaging to that user's friends so they can know what's happening right away. You can even create functions to build a web-based API for your data that anyone can use. You write your functions in JavaScript for the Node environment, and all it takes is one easy command line to deploy your functions for immediate use. With Cloud Functions, you can seamlessly integrate many features of Firebase to provide the backend services that your app requires to be fast, secure, and complete. And you can do it all without having to provision servers, tune them, upgrade them, and scale them up or down to meet your users' demand. We handle the maintenance and you write the code so you can quickly build apps without all the ops. To learn more about Cloud Functions and how you can use it to build out your Firebase app, check out the documentation right here. We can't wait to see what you build.
Okay, so key capabilities. We have integrates Firebase features and connect Firebase with Google Cloud. The functions you write, in the meantime, this is still running, can respond to events generated by various database and Google Cloud features, from Firebase authentication trigger to cloud storage trigger. Integrate across Firebase features using the admin SDK together with Cloud Function, and integrate the third-party services, writing your own web hooks. Cloud Function minimize boilerplate, making it easier to use Firebase and Google Cloud inside your function. Zero maintenance. Deploy your JavaScript, TypeScript, or Python code to our servers with one command, which however takes forever. From the command line after that, Firebase automatically scales up the computing resources to match the user's pattern of your users. You never worry about credentials, server configuration, provisioning new servers, or decommissioning old ones. In many cases, developers prefer to control application logic on the servers to avoid tampering on the client side. Also, sometimes it's not desirable to allow that code to be reverse engineering. Cloud Function is fully insulated from the client, so you can be sure it's private and always does exactly what you want. How does it work? After you write and deploy a function, Google servers begin to manage the functions immediately. You can fire the function directly with an HTTP request. So, by the way, in fact, I managed to run the function with HTTP request, but I'm not even sure why that happens. So I have this HTTP options. It's just because I have on request. Probably. Yeah? So this is a trigger that says on request, which handle HTTP requests. So probably have different triggers depending on how we want to call the function. So because I started with function with on request, it means it's an HTTP, I suppose. Okay, so all of this is good, but we can't test until it's deployed. Let's check. Let's ask this question: is on request a trigger for HTTP request? And what are examples of other triggers? So if I go here, on request is important from HTTPS. Okay, boom. Let's see this answer. This also takes time. The admin SDK of schedule job. Okay, or in case of background functions, Google servers listen for event and run the function when it is triggered. After the load, as the load increases or decreases, Google responds by rapidly scaling the number of virtual server instances needed to run your functions. Each function runs in isolation in its own environment with its own configuration. When it says each function, does it mean each function run or each function type? I don't know, but suppose it means type here. Life cycle of a background function. I see how it's going. Oh, it's finally finished. Function hello world. Why suddenly there's a totally different URL? What the heck is that? So let's try to run the old URL first. Does it still work? Yes, it does. And the document was written successfully, which is, and it looks like from both we got the same. So that's confusing. I was expecting a failure, but maybe the function start with some kind of authorization. Let's go to here, data. We should have a new collection here with these messages. Okay, well, no data provided because I didn't post anything, which is fine, and different timestamps. So, okay, so it's able to write stuff, which is a bit scary because I didn't give the permission. In rules, I thought I was pretty much locked down. How, why is, this was the answer about the different triggers. Let's have a look first. Yes, on request is an HTTP trigger that creates an HTTP endpoint for your cloud function. Here is a quick overview of common Firebase functions triggers. HTTP trigger on request handles HTTP request, get, post, etc. Authentication triggers on create, new user sign up, delete it. Firestore trigger, okay. Real-time database, storage, scheduled, callable function, task queue function. Why is my Firebase function able to write to Firestore? Well, let's go check the rules. I go here, Firestore rules. When my rules look like this. Taking time, so I wait as gone. Life cycle of a background function. You write code for a new function, selecting an event provider such as Cloud Firestore, and define the condition for which the function should execute. When you deploy your function, the Firebase CLI creates a zip archive of the function code, which is then uploaded to the cloud storage bucket GFC sources before cloud function sources before cloud function create an artifact registry. Okay, so it says it's also go to a cloud storage bucket. Let's have a look to that. Cloud storage. So I go here. No, what's that? Login matrix. What's this? Search. Yep. Cloud storage. What was that? Yep. Cloud storage. Nothing here. View bucket list. Aha. So we have two of these. Well, we have two GFC sources. Both created at the same time. One is GFC sources, the other is uploads. Okay. Sources contains hello world with the source code only one time. And the uploads contains 3 folder. What's that? It's a zip file. 3 zip file that probably are. What's going on here with the layout? It's all screwed up. Okay, yeah, zip. We can see here with the 3 deployments perhaps. And this should be very small. See, 97 kilobyte. Well, it's okay. Let's move on. So, right, we were checking why is able to write to the database and says your Firebase Cloud function can write to Firestore regardless of your security rules because it's using the Firebase admin SDK, which bypasses all security rules. Is that good? This is by design and is a clear key feature of the admin SDK. Here is why. Admin SDK bypasses security rules. The admin SDK initialized with admin privileges credential. It has full read and write access to your entire Firestore database. This is intentional as Cloud functions often need to perform operations that should not be restricted by security rules. Security implication. Yeah, it's pretty big. Any code in your Cloud function has full access to your database. You must ensure that your Cloud function properly validate and sanitize your inputs. Never expose admin credential in client-side code. When security rules apply, direct client access, web, mobile apps, when using Firebase client SDKs, okay, when making direct REST API calls. If you want to enforce security rules in your Cloud function, you can manually check a security condition in your function code. Use the Firebase Auth SDK to verify permission. Use callable function which include your user auth context. Here an example how to check permissions for your function. Okay, this is like a lot to digest. Let's see. Slowly. Async request response. Get the ID token from the request. Okay. Ooh, that seems easy. That's nice. Get the ID token. If there is no token unauthorized, verify the ID token and get the user ID. Ooh, this is pretty nice. Now check if the user has permission. I would need this code, so probably we'll have to ask again, but what I'm gonna do is maybe put it here in the readme. Manually check in and user permissions. Why have this Firebase function? Did I delete a lot of stuff by mistake? No, it's there. Oh yeah. So that's a suggestion. Okay, so manually check. It's not really checking user permission, but user authentication. Keep user ID, something like that. So let's put this in pre-formatted. Is this TypeScript? Well, is TypeScript meaning any JavaScript is also TypeScript? For me, this looks like JavaScript. There is no specific type. Okay. Anyway, doesn't really matter. And now we got this to look later. Okay. So, all right. So actually, goal it was achieved. It was to write something in Firestore, and I did. And I did. So I guess the next step would be to call this function from a form and save the content of that form to the database. We probably need much more checks and be sure that everything works correctly, but it's a promising start. We'll go on tomorrow because it's pretty late already. Thanks. Bye bye.